All right, here we are. Once again, episode 43 of the Everyday Bowhunter podcast. I'm Mike Manley. Here's my brother, Dan Zemer. And this week, we're going to dive into beginner mistakes to avoid during your bow season. And honestly, it's not beginner mistakes. It's honestly just because I still make these mistakes.
Yeah.
It's
knucklehead.
It should be just mistakes to avoid, when bow hunting.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of chaos here. Dan and I we're recording this podcast on a Saturday morning, which never happens.
Yeah, well,
it's usually alcohol in these cups versus
coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
But a ton going on trying to get things wrapped up because the season's coming.
That's right here.
So it's like my honey-do list started out at the beginning of summer like this. Now it's down to this, and I just got to get these last few steps taken care of. Like, all right, so for me, it was put brakes on the truck, picking up, as soon as I leave here today, picking up trim for our addition up at the ceiling. What's up there now looks like crap. I want to replace it. So we're going to do that. Build a base for a shed, built the shed. It's just a lot going on. And then on top of that, like starting to try to mentally get into the archery season mindset. And I'm not going to lie, I've been a little bit behind because is this honey-do list that's been, it might be my fault. I may have procrastinated some of this. I mean, the brakes thing, okay, we're talking about 2 hours worth of work. But, it was nothing, but it was just things that started compiling like on top of already said list,
And me, I started a new job, and the new job is taking me to Chattanooga last week. I'll be in Maryland this week, and then I'll be up in northeastern PA the week after that.
Did you experience the flooding down there?
So the night that it rained like crazy and they had all the flooding in Chattanooga, was that Wednesday night?
Mm-hmm. It was midweek.
Tuesday or Wednesday night, whatever it was. I am so deaf. I wear hearing aids, got blown up in Iraq. But so I'm in my room oblivious to what's going on outside.
You just like wake up, open the curtains up, and you're like, oh. So
gotta get actually the location that I was just 10 miles north of Chattanooga in Cleveland. Okay. Cleveland, Tennessee is where I was at. And I went into the place where I was, working and doing kind of a shadowing of some people that do my job already. But they're pulling out their phones and showing me videos of like
flooding,
the flooding and stuff. And this is what my sister sent me last night, because if you don't know, Chattanooga sits in the bottom of a valley.
Okay.
It's beautiful. The mountains when you're driving in there, you get signs for Ruby Falls and, waterfalls and caves and all kinds of stuff like that are tourist attractions there.
But if a high density amount of rain hits, it could be catastrophic. It's going to be
a shitstorm. So anyway, it flooded there, and the flooding luckily went down. That's why they call it flash flooding. But it went down.
Correct. Yeah,
went down pretty quick. But yeah, that was. I get in there, and we had multiple events while I was there where storms are going through, and because it's a warehouse environment, they are big on lightning, and so if there's lightning within 6 miles, it shuts down everything. Until that passes. But we kept getting it at 10 miles, but didn't get it at 6. So we were fortunate. But yeah, that was some powerful stuff coming through. But while it was ongoing, really, just that far north, there was no flooding where I was at. That there was, the streets were wet when I got up in the morning, and the vehicle was wet. And I said, "Oh, it must have rained pretty good last night."
That's that weird localized flooding stuff, though. Yeah. We've experienced that here a lot, actually. The localized. Yeah. Just the other day, West Hempfield Township. They got hammered. It was like a river through people's backyard. You're talking just regular, average, everyday developments. Suburbia America.
Yeah.
That it was just rivers in their backyard, and there's no like swales, like retention ponds or anything. They're like on the south sides of these developments, and this and that. This was it just came in fast and furious. Flash flooding's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And of course, we live right by a massive river, which that then affects me and my job because I work for a water authority and water company. We're privately owned, but now all those tributaries that just flash flooded, the nitrates, we'll call it nitrates, cow shit and whatnot, from all these little streams that are going into these streams. Those arteries go into that river, and now your turbidity jumps in the river, and things go haywire. So,
but on the archery front,
nice segue.
The archery front, we are on the heel. Some places actually have started hunting. I saw pictures of people getting bucks in velvet already, which is crazy. I know some like private farm type setups are already active and hunting. Now, I've seen that there's a certified hunter program in Pennsylvania. This has been out for a little while now, but it's basically in Southwest Pennsylvania and it's built for farmers that are having a lot of crop damage from deer and stuff. And it's a doe only endeavor.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to go through a process here in Pennsylvania to, if you look it up, certified hunter program for Pennsylvania. And it has a whole thing where you go through, you take tests, you actually have to go out and shoot and show that you're
capable,
right? Depending on, everything from your rifle, shotgun, and bow, depending on what you're trying to certify in to hunt.
Yeah.
And then you, once you go through that process, you are now on the list. And when they want to, open it up in different parts of the state, you can then go hunt. And then they have, some other avenues for donations and stuff like that. If you, want to donate, meat and stuff like that. So I think that's, I think that's the age we're going into. It's funny because the head guy where I was at, we sat and talked hunting for a while when we should have been working. And that's how it goes, guys. You start talking archery, people go, "Oh, yeah."
Oh, it's a brotherhood.
But it's just a different dynamic in Tennessee with the amount of public land versus private land. He was sitting there telling me how difficult it is to find places to hunt, and he's lucky that he knows this guy with 25 acres, this guy with 80 acres, this guy with 75 acres, that he can go hunt those properties. And it's tough. And I'm like, Pennsylvania is loaded
with public land.
And the other thing is the Game Commission here in Pennsylvania has so much money that when they see a tract that's getting sold off, that's a lot of acreage that butts up against state forest or state game lands, they're buying it. And then you have like the Lancaster Conservancy, for example, that they're buying land through donations to scoop it up to make it.
They actually bought some of our land.
Did they? The water company?
Yep.
Oh, down in Hellam.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They bought a good chunk of our land.
Yep. So which is great. It's more of those type of entities are needed if we want to maintain our public lands. We had a big thing in the podcast about government wanting to sell off public lands, but they can't sell it off if private conservancies own it, and those conservancies are nonprofit, and they open that up for public use.
Correct. Right. Yeah. Which is now I do like certain things that the Game Commission has been doing. So they've kind of been progressing a little bit here in the last year. Modernizing and stuff like that. And so, of course, they just legalized Sunday hunting.
13 Sundays.
They took the prohibition off, and now we can hunt Sundays, which is awesome. I used to love my Sunday was a travel day, blah blah blah, but now I can wake up, go hunting, and then drive home later in the afternoon.
I figured I'll at least get a morning hunt in.
That's it. Now it's my Sundays traditionally go be a morning hunt, and if it evolves into, if I get into something, I get into something. Guess what? I won't get home till 8, 9 o'clock at night, maybe. Whatever it is, what it is.
It's a very good possibility if you hit something.
Exactly. So that's real. But
turn into a Monday day off.
Without actually them notifying us, I get a letter in the mail from the Game Commission, and it's about CWD, chronic wasting disease. Okay, so it would be like the letter, it's an active participant thing. So you pretty much sign up for it, mail it in with a free stamp. They already paid for the postage to return it. You just sign up for it, and they will send you a testing kit. Okay. And then if you get a deer, or when you get a deer, you can test from wherever on this animal that this testing kit, there's going to be a set of said directions to go through this process.
Sure.
If you're getting brain matter or whatever.
For hunters, it has to be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Because we're not the smartest crew in the world.
I mean, yeah. Or, know your audience. Yeah. So that I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't even know what was happening. I started asking guys at work. I asked him. I'm like, "Hey, did you get this letter in the mail from the game commission?"
If I did, it made its way in the trash can without me knowing.
Yeah, and nobody at work had gotten one. I actually got 2. So
I'm definitely going to sign up for it because I figure if we have more than one testing kit there at camp, that'd be a good thing.
I like the proactive approach.
Yeah. We haven't really had it.
Try to monitor the CW chronic wasting disease in our area.
We haven't really had it, and I think we're lucky with that. But that does not mean that it's not going to happen.
So, with chronic wasting disease, what that does to public lands is, all right. So if they strike a public land like a wildlife management unit with chronic wasting disease,
and it's hot and heavy there, now the hunting population goes down and they actively seek other places to hunt. And then places like where we hunt become more populated with hunters. And it has happened.
And they're just moving to the safe zones, of the state. And that's fine. It is what it is. It's public land. It's our land.
But I think we did notice that we went to one of those areas that was heavy CWD years ago, and we found that we saw deer like that.
Yeah. Well, because there was no pressure.
Yeah,
and that's a huge thing. Yeah,
yeah. So that was wonderful. I wouldn't mind, going down there for a day or so.
Yeah, back to the Pennsylvania. Hey, I'm grateful for our game commission doing some positive things here. Like finally, it's like everybody's bitching and complaining always about the game commission. It's always negative. And then finally we're getting some positive news, positive feedback from the state about things that are progressing. And it's actually, things are looking up. I think it's a pretty good thing.
Yeah. And we talked about the bear thing they're doing. The bear study, and that we saw the cub with a collar on. Right. I have seen, I think I'm fairly sure that it's the same bear across like 4 cameras. And things moving out and traveling.
He's making his rounds.
He's putting some miles on, for sure. And
what is there? There's like a 7 mile. Isn't it like
I know they have like a 5 mile deal
5
or whatever.
to 7 something. Yeah, mile.
Yeah, it really depends, but they have a huge range where they'll stay in if the food's there.
Yeah.
And the food's been there. The unfortunate thing is, and I said this to you guys in a text, I think yesterday or the day before, is I have this doe that's in this one area that she's been there for,
It's her home.
Yeah, it's her home. I put in a camera there about 3 years ago and had her with fawns for 2 years, and she has nothing with her. Nothing. Those fawns the bear in the area there, I believe, has taken her fawns down. She hadn't have any little ones this year.
Or this year, maybe she went barren. She just cycled out. She's just older, but that just means she needs an arrow.
Yeah,
it's time.
I'm gonna. It's one of those things where you wait for that cycle of, okay, when is that area ready? If I know there's a singular doe in a spot, right, that she lives there, which I do, I am not going to go into that spot until I suspect that now's the time that a buck is now probably trying to bed doe adjacent.
Doe adjacent from this said doe.
Said doe, yes. And then, that's when you go in and you see that hot sign, in that specific spot. But people tend to, and I think we'll just get on to the mistakes thing right here, right?
Well, I was going to say real quick on that is, so if you have like an inkling that maybe this doe went barren, this is where your cell cam and watching this activity, if there's an uptick in buck activity heading into doe adjacent time, then she's not barren. Because she's got to be putting out that estrus, right? And if she's not, that means
and there's also the thing where she could still be going into estrus, but now because of having multiple kids over years.
Do they do menopause?
I bet they do.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, sorry, what a weird question.
She does not seem that old. If you see the pictures of her, she does not seem that old. But anyway, so we talked about the mistakes thing, right? So we talk about beginner mistakes to avoid. That jumps off the page to me. Is a lot of time young hunters will say, oh, this is a doe only area. There's just tons of doe over here. I'm looking for a buck. I'm going somewhere else. I'm not interested in those doe unless I want to kill a doe. But the reality is,
I'm always interested in the doe
if there's doe,
because
there's going to be buck. Not necessarily the first week, not necessarily the second week, but when you get into
that season evolves.
when they start scraping, and that you get to mid-October, these bucks are now honed in on these doe areas, and through that last 2 weeks of October, heading into rut, all their focus is on those does.
So
They're going to be creating their rub lines. They're going to be hitting the scrapes that are near the doe bedding. All that stuff is going to be in the cards.
yeah, and where we hunt, it's needle in the haystack type hunting. Okay, so it's very vast, very, very vast. So
As you say, 26 miles of valley.
26 miles of state forest that spin around in a circle point and go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, scouting, obviously. But you get what I'm trying to get at. So, and when I'm saying you need those doe, okay, now put this in a linear line here. You need them doe vastness. So when it comes time to rut roam, when they're roaming, you need them doe. Otherwise, you're just kind of putting yourself in a position. All the signs could be there, but rut's happening, starting to kick in, which is changing. It's evolving, and you need those doe. You need the doe. And
So-
in our area, that's not. I'm not saying where you're at, maybe in Arkansas or whatever.
That's a
but
time
in our area.
when buck bedding can change. Now, there's areas that people hunt where those doe family groups and the buck are and because the parcels they're hunting on are so small, right? That they're always in the same bedding areas. The doe are always bedding over here. The food source is over here. That's a different
landlocked situation.
It's very different from what we experience in the mountains of Pennsylvania here. In the mountains of Pennsylvania, you have to say, okay, bucks are bedding here during the summer. Might be in a different spot come the early season part of archery.
Right.
But as soon as the freaking testosterone kicks in and they are now focused on those doe, where they're bedding is going to be downwind of does or doe family groups.
We are just a little perspective. So where we're at, we're in a valley, right? We are in the middle of 4 mountain ranges. You go up over our mountains, and then you go up over, and then it kind of dwindles down to the south of us, but to the north of it, it keeps going up all the way up into State College and through that. Very vast. When I say like our immediate myopic hunting area is 26 miles. That's just our range of our valley. So that's just out our valley and back. Yeah, that's what we're willing to drive. It's out our valley and back. But you have mountain. It's so vast. It's wild.
In recent years, I've been hunting the other side of the mountain from us, the areas that I see almost nobody.
Yeah.
Because it's just not fun to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other places that we've gone with our e-bikes.
Yeah.
Places that's not fun to get to, harder to get to, but then that also gives you more opportunities to, there's that hunting with pressure and hunting without pressure. Hunter pressure. That's what I'm talking about.
Hunt utilizing or not wanting to deal with. Yeah.
Now, I think the beginner mistake that I always start off with that I think kind of lends itself. I've been really enthused about how Jevin has been great about getting out, and he has trained this off season on shooting and waiting till the last minute to, one, get your bow ready and to shoot. 2 is one of the biggest mistakes. On my website at archeryhunting.com, the thing that I see seasonally, it's so funny to see the traffic changes on the website, because I see people with 2 weeks to the season, and all of a sudden my arrow stuff on my website is flooded.
Yeah.
It's flooded. And
we're humans. We're naturally procrastinators.
And bow setup stuff and bow sight stuff. It's like all of a sudden that you would think that, July or something, or even right now, and I do have a huge uptick right now, but come September, when they're a week out or whatever, they're and we said about this before also with your going to your bow shop at the last minute. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is a product of this exactly. We are the everyday bow hunter. We're just the average Joe. Like the real world gets a say in what this schedule is. You know what I mean? And it's things that you can't control. So like I kind of got something. So I watched this thing, documentary one time, and I ended up breaking my whole life down into this, and I follow it to a T now. There's the unknown, there's the unknown known, and then your known. So if you could like put your personal finances, the way that you operate your life, and your just daily average, right? So your day to day, your unknown is like almost like a category you never want to be, right? You never saw it coming, didn't know you were blindsided, and it's like a catastrophic event. Okay. Your unknown is kind of had an idea that it was coming one day, and you're kind of preparing for it. Okay. And then your known is like, that's your socking money away, rainy day fun, you know what I mean? All the things that your preventative maintenance at your house, the this, the that. Yeah. So in archery hunting, your known, okay, is you're shooting for your muscle memory, your accuracy, your scouting, your all these things, the things that you know to do, right? The known unknown. Okay, so this is where it's like the known unknown. You know there's deer in there. The unknown is when are they going to show up, right? The unknown
Or where
is
are they? Yeah.
the unknown is you didn't do any of your homework. You did not practice. You did not get ready at all. And you just went out there on a wing and a prayer. And, that's the unknown aspect of this.
If you don't prepare and you wing it and go out there and you don't get something, and then you get pissed because you didn't get something.
Here's your sign. Yeah.
You only have yourself to blame.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
We all understand that time is a luxury.
Yeah.
And if you're working a full-time job, you have a family with kids. And
this year, A specific is way more important to you. Critical to you and your situation, because starting a new job, not having as much time off as per se me.
Yeah. Yes. Right. I just don't, not only do I not have time off, but the schedule that I'm running is going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. So I'm going to be going from work to camp to work in some instances. So
sacrifices, man. Yeah. That's
so, but, so talk about that. I kind of alluded to it there for a second. The other thing, if you expect your bow to get set up by your Bow Shop Pro, your archery shop,
September 26th, don't expect that.
Expect a look. And if you're wondering what the look was from the archery shop guy, it was because you're a week out and you're trying to get your bow tuned up.
Do you ever hear somebody say, "Come on, man"? that's a come on, man moment.
Yeah. Don't wait till the last minute to get your bow set up. If your bow's not set up right now, guys, and you're listening to this podcast, go to the shop.
Yeah, get it set up. Now, there's going to be an instance where you could be set up and you're shooting and you have a failure. That's a different case scenario. Obviously, that's
different. Yeah,
that's the known unknown. Sorry, not to bring that back up.
But so I mean that's your kind of things that you can control type deal now. Yeah. And the next thing is, I use Jevin as an example again. Not only has he been shooting a lot, he went and got himself a 3D target. So he's also focusing on shot placement. But he's focusing on shot placement while in the tree. So he's actually up in an elevated position, shooting at a 3D target to make sure of that everything's dialed in the way it should be. And that there is, we talk about, I think, what do you say that first day in the woods, the very first time you climb a tree in the dark,
the blunders,
or just climb a tree period, and you're getting your stuff set up in the tree. And if you take it for granted, I do this every year, but I am traditionally, I go out every year and I climb a tree, a few times, get up there, I try to shoot out of it, not always successful. And say to myself, okay, I'm ready for that first day. But it doesn't matter. You get out there and you're actually hunting, your mindset shifts.
Yeah.
Because now you're in hunt mode. When you're doing it and preparing for it, climbing a tree saying, oh, I'm good. Oh, I just don't need that today. I'm not taking that with me today because I'm just practicing in the tree a little bit. But then you get out for your hunt and you say, oh crap, where's this at?
Yeah.
Where's that? Why didn't I'm all screwed up in the tree. Yeah. It's now a half hour and I'm still not set
You're
up.
all thumbs up there.
Yeah.
The first couple hunts are like that, like in the beginning of the season. Now I kind of wanted to ask the crowd, the audience, if anybody else experiences this too. Like my first 2 hunts, it's almost like, I don't know how to explain this. It's like I'm not seeing the woods very well.
I know what you're saying.
Okay, so like picking out a deer that's kind of like it takes me a couple hunts, a couple hours in the woods in consecutive times to get my eyes to adjust to what's actually happening in the woods.
That kind of brings me to
because otherwise it's just like a blur.
So I'm talking to this guy in Tennessee, right? And he's telling me, so his daughter's boyfriend had expressed interest and wanted to go hunting and stuff. And he's like, before the season starts, I'm going to go out and I'm going to scout a few spots and stuff. But then what he did was he went to the spot where 2 weeks before the season, and not always recommended, but he went and said, okay, I'm going to sit in this tree and I'm going to just do, no weapons, do an observation and see if this, what I'm thinking, could possibly, be correct. A good funnel. He said it was a great funnel. Seemed a lot of sign, yada yada. Historical knowledge plays a part because it was private land. And he said, he goes, I go in there in the afternoon and about 5:30, I have 2 rack buck just walk right by me. And he's like, here I am, nothing. He goes, it just, my heart raced just the same.
Right.
But he said, getting that, like you said, getting that out of your system kind of
prior to the season. Because like the first day you have like the opening weekend, you have the blunders. You're all thumbs. You're not adjusted to going in the dark. You're not like there's a lot of like scenarios there. And then when you finally do kind of settle down, you're finally set up, then you could be fidgeting. You're on your phone or looking at your OnX, or you're just different things that are distracting you. And it like takes me a couple, weeks into the season to really, really, really get serious. Like, I don't think I personally take it as serious as I should the first 2 weeks, because I'm kind of like a fair weather hunter when it comes to that, but opposite. I like the harsher weather because I know when that colder weather hits that we're getting closer to roaming season, and I just, early season, it's like it's hot, the bugs are at you, I'm more irritable, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into that too, but that's my beginner mistakes or everyday bow hunting mistakes is the fidgeting, not being ready when I should be ready, and missing opportunities because I wasn't ready, or thought to myself, it's really warm today. There ain't a chance in how anything's going to happen, but I do want to go out in the woods regardless. And you're out there, and because that mindset and you're messing around, you're going to miss an opportunity.
So I have a great thing for that. So one of the things we talked about when we were talking about the deer study stuff, was that they found in the Penn State study and even Mississippi State study that deer are moving a lot between 9 a.m. and 11.
Right.
And you find a lot of hunters are out of the woods by 9:30 a.m. Right.
Oh, we're all guilty of that. Yes.
But why are deer moving during that time frame? One, it could be hunters
getting up, moving, which pushes them.
But what also happens around 9 o'clock in the morning, right? Especially if you're in the mountains or in hill country,
the sun gets to a certain point.
The thermals change.
Yes.
And now you have a shift in where that bedding is for a deer, for a buck. He's going to say, okay, the wind's changed. I'm not in a secure location anymore.
Or the sun's beating on me, this, that.
Whatever, all these different factors.
Right.
I'm going to get up and I'm going to move to a better location, right? And he probably is going to feed along to that spot. So here I am, first day, 2 years ago, maybe 3. And I have, boom, it's 9:30. And I'm just kind of getting lackadaisical in the tree, already thinking about a cup of coffee.
Fidgety, this, that,
Right.
gotta poop.
Yeah.
All the above.
Sphincter pressure.
Boom. Uh-oh, gotta go.
But I'm surprised because it's so thick early too. you
Yeah.
know? And I just kind of look up and boom,
He's
there's
there.
there's a freaking 6-point there.
Right there.
And he's probably, I don't know, 50 yards. And he's working his way towards me. Right? And at that point right there, not being able to totally tell how many points he had, right? Looked like a decent deer, but I wasn't sure if he was a shooter quite yet because of the thickness of what he was in and stuff, right? Just the lay of the land kind of sometimes does that to you.
That and it being open day, not seeing the woods the right way yet.
So here,
Not being acclimated visually.
here he starts working his way directly to my tree. And I am so enamored with the fact that this was also when I was testing ozonics. And I had the ozonic. He was downwind of me, right? And the winds are about 5 to 10. I would say more like 5 to 8. But I had the ozonics thing blowing right at him. And he kind of put his head in the air a little bit and licked his nose a little bit because I know he smelled the ozone, right? But he continued to come. He actually came within 5 yards of my tree. But I am so enamored with this whole thing that the thing I didn't do,
Grab your bow and get
I
ready.
never grabbed my bow. So at the 50-yard mark, when I see antlers, the first thing I should have done, beginner mistake, was to not get my bow in my hand when I have the deer's attention away from me. If he was, looking at me, I'd been a different deal. But he was down, nose to the ground, different times, turn around. Now they do have people don't realize this, they do have like a 290-degree arc of vision. That where they can see movement. So this isn't, where you can just move fast. You have to move slow, methodically, get it, try to.
This
hide
almost
your movement
exactly
as
same
much as
thing
possible.
happened to me out in Ohio that first morning. And I see always out in distance, always turkey kind of like looking down the hill, and this racker comes walking up out of this cornfield, and I'm so enamored by the size and girth of this thing, and I'm like my jaw's on the floor that I forget that I'm hunting because I'm now like a spectator. It was like actually a spectator sport moment where I'm like, oh my God. And it dawns on me right when he's completely broadside, like perfect spot to be shot. It dawns on me, holy shit, my bow, I got to draw. And I do it slow, but when I went like this to pull back, that 260-degree gone, and all I saw was this monstrosity of a rack heading up the mountain, and I just went, I can't believe I blew that. And that's a beginner mistake, but I was totally shell shocked. I had never seen a buck like that in the woods at that point in my life. That was a spectacular moment.
Now, the one thing about a deer, is much like a turkey does this too, is when they are going after, say they are eating browse, for instance, right? And they're actively grabbing on it, or they're doing a scrape or whatever. That's the time because they actually do try to focus in on what they're at that moment. And that's the time when they're not, that the peripheral vision's still there, but it's not as active, I guess is the way you would say it. You're paying attention, you're focused on something
You'd think it would be more because they're putting themselves in a vulnerable.
But you'll see them, like for example, you'll see them chewing on that stuff, and as soon as they pull away from it, while they're still chewing, they're looking around. Right?
Yeah. And then back to chewing.
And then they're back to chewing and stuff because they're always on alert, especially where we're at.
They're hunted.
Right?
We're the hunter, they're hunted. They're the hunted.
And they get turned on more as the season goes on. So you want to take those moments, and that's the draw moments too, right? The other mistake that I corrected is waiting too long to draw. I would rather sit there
and hold it
for a minute.
Possibly have to put it back down.
Had to do that. But the mistakes that I've made is waiting too long to draw and then drawing and having them gotten closer and now getting busted on the draw.
And that window for me is even shorter than for you.
Yeah.
Being because of hunting on the ground.
Yeah.
That is a
big time.
That's a real scenario.
That's tough. Yeah. That ground stuff. And that's why one of the things that you talk about, Dan, is and it's not always there because every ground scenario is different, but is trying to get that break up in front of you of another tree. You like to sit in pairs of trees where one tree's in front of you, so you can break up.
So I can kind of get
like a saddle hunter.
It's the exact same concept.
Yeah,
absolutely. I definitely, if I know their direction of which way if I have an idea of which way they're going to be coming and going, I definitely try to put a larger tree in front of me. And there was time they were like out in Bedford. Bedford. I almost said Bradford. So out there, I had a giant tree in front of me, and where my seat was in a smaller tree, and I literally, as that buck was coming down, because I cleared all the leaves the whole way around. That way, if I made so I could be quiet, right? Yeah. And I kind of like tucked behind that tree, and at the right moment,
was ready to go.
That's when I popped out.
Yeah. It's just that's a huge thing, and that because getting your shot off that's the whole deal, right?
That's it. That's the moment of truth,
and making sure you can draw without getting busted.
Yeah,
I've literally had them put their head to the ground and thinking, not realizing about the range of peripheral vision that they have, and drawing my bow kind of relaxed and having them boom.
And look, we're all going to go through that moment.
It happens.
That exact moment
you can be as slick as you think you are, and if they're just on alert for it, you're going to get busted.
And you just waited 4 hours for that one moment, and you get busted, and it's just like, oh,
that's why I call
it's so frustrating.
It's a matter of seconds, right? Everything I do now is focusing on giving myself additional seconds. People ask me why I worry about camouflage when deer can't see that well. It's like, I want the extra second, right? It might only be a second where he's just not sure of what I am.
It's about buying time.
Every single, because those moments are so fleeting.
Yeah.
When you get a shot opportunity, okay, I drew my bow, but because I'm camouflaged properly up in the tree, he doesn't realize what I am, and he might have lifted his head up, he might be looking at me, but boom, I can get the shot. Now, the mistake to avoid, because he is looking at me, is to shoot high when I know he's going to drop. Now your deer is automatically going to drop to bolt when you take that shot.
It's like a preload shock.
Yeah. You hear about them jumping the string. That's what that means. With the deer, actually, he's basically coiling to spring away, and he'll drop. He'd drop 4 to 6 inches. So you need to aim just a little bit lower.
And they could coil to spring to any direction, straight up to the right. So it's tough.
Yeah, so that's a beginner mistake to avoid. If anything, aim just a little bit lower if they're looking at you.
And they always say, don't ever shoot at a deer that's looking at you.
So
I have.
I definitely have.
I have.
Well, because this, right? So I shot that one up at Vincent, right? He was on doe. It was during the rut, and I just had 4 doe pass me, and they're all looking behind him and stuff. And 10 minutes later, here comes this buck, and he's panting, and freaking, he sounds like a bloodhound out there. He's just all worn out and chasing these doe. And he comes down the same trail they did, and I go, meh, right? So when you do that, boom, he stopped.
And looked to the sound that you just made.
He looked right at me, right? Boom, he stopped and looked right at me, and that's when I shot him.
That's tough there because of the way that the hill is, and if they're following that trail below you, then they're looking eye to eye with you almost.
It was actually a quartering 2-shot too, which I was very lucky to get him.
Yeah, that blood trail was awesome.
Yeah.
That was we talked about this before. I'm walking looking for blood, and I'm like, I don't see blood. And Mike's like, look at your tree beside you, idiot. And I look, and there's blood the whole way up this tree post. Like
he was bleeding out both sides. I don't even know how I made it 150 yards because
you caught the back of the heart and some lung on that shot there, and it just
that
was an artery shot for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was
beautiful.
Great.
But talk about the next beginner mistake that you and I talk about this a lot, and I screwed this up royally last year. Was because of deer movement, right? And how they see the best. They see the best because they see on the UV spectrum, right? And then when is the UV spectrum the best for them? It's in that time frame before first light and the time frame just before sun goes down, right? That low light, those low light times, right? Between sunrise and sunset.
Yeah.
And, around sunrise and sunset. And here I am. I just went through this standoff with this buck. But disgruntled. You told me you were getting ready to get out of the tree. We were texting up on top of the mountain. And I thought for sure I wasn't going to see anything because I had a standoff with the buck in the very spot I was hunting at, like 3 hours prior. And so what did I do? I did not hunt in my tree until dark. It was about 15 minutes before dark.
Got kind of like complacent / frustrated in that moment.
I lowered my bow to the ground, and all of a sudden, here he comes. And he put on the broadside freaking dance in front of me. I got him broadside freaking from the right. Then I had him broadside from the left for over 20 minutes.
And there was not a damn thing you could do about it.
All I could do is pick up my phone and try to take a video.
It's that... Like that's just like you almost like gave up on the hunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like a true fire you had an experience earlier in the hunt.
And I've only learned this lesson countless times.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing for the morning.
I'm guilty of that too, where I just get like right in that window where it's just like I'm frustrated that what I thought was going to happen didn't happen. I was trying to what do they say when you like? So I was trying to speak it mentally into existence, and it never played out the way that I thought it was going to play out. And then I got frustrated and got up like almost pissed off, started packing up, and I look up and then there's a freaking deer standing there looking at me, and I'm like, it was going to happen exactly how I thought it was going to happen. I was not patient enough. Yep.
I think in my early years, right after I retired from the Army, and I was trying to, listen to everything that our dad would tell me, do this, don't stay in the tree till dark, blah, 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 And I came out of the tree, I don't know how many times over those first couple of years where I was literally on my way down the tree or there's something where I turn with my head because I'd have like my headlamp on. I'd turn and there'd be a buck standing there next to the tree looking at me, wondering what the hell's
going on. Yeah. What are you?
I mean, so we're up on.
I'm the everyday bow hunter, bitch. No.
Yeah, that didn't impress them.
Oh,
they weren't impressed by that. So we're on the gas line hunting, right? And we're actually hunting rifle at the time. And here I am in climbing tree stand up near the end of the
where it dog goes, legs up. Yep. I remember this. This is yep.
And I have to piss like crazy.
Is this where I was putting on the drive? You guys went up early and got up her, and then later on I came in and put a drive on.
I think you might have.
And that's where I saw that bear.
Yeah.
Dude, I was walking and I see a pile of bear shit and it was steaming. And I was like, oh, that's fresh. That's like real fresh, And I take like a couple steps forward and I look up and this bear goes like this and stands up, does that, and boom, took off like a rocket. And all I saw was because it was like little baby hemlocks in there and shit. Them hemlocks were just going, and he was just like going like that quick. They are fast.
But so initially I thought it was 2 buck, but now as I look back on it, it was a buck chasing a doe. But I lean my rifle basically against the tree. I lean out because I have a safety harness on. I'm in the climber. I lean out so I don't piss all over my stand, and I'm standing there pissing, and I hear this. I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm like trying to. I basically have my junk hanging out.
He's gonna have a couple drops all over him.
I'm more than a couple, and I don't give a shit at that point.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying. And down. I'm pissing to my left, and then down to my right, I see a deer. It bolts across this gas line. It's probably 100 yards across, maybe less.
Yeah, I mean,
Give or
like,
take.
75 maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, bolts across, and then I look down, and I just see this huge rack deer, and I am fighting to get my rifle up into my hands, and as that deer is going across, right, I am just so, because of the situation, I'm like, boom, totally not ready, and that deer's now gone, and I could have winged the shot, but
I've had some really cool experiences out there at that gas line. Like, I was out there turkey hunting. I had been frustrated with archery. So it was in the fall, so it was fall turkey. And I was like, you know what? I just need to walk away from it for a hunt and just get away from the whole archery hunting thing. I'm going to grab a shotgun. I'm going to go turkey hunting. I go out to the gas line. I'm sitting on one side of the gas line, just kind of watching it, calling to see if something would come in and or cross, and I know which way they're going or whatever they're doing. And I'm sitting there, and I'm at the base of a tree right at the edge, and I'm calling, nothing's happening. And I hear something across, and I look over, and there was a hell of a nice buck, and it had a drop tine. It looked like a black thumb sticking down.
I think I remember this story.
And it was like real dark, but it was like that, like sticking down off its antler. It had a drop tine, and there I was with a shotgun in my hand, nothing I could do about it. And I mean, he just walked ever so nicely and gently down the gas line there. Mm-hmm. Another time we went out, me, Jevin, and Musser went out there coyote hunting, got shooting at coyote. We weren't there 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. We put the coyote call out on the gas line, and Musser hit the distressed rabbit, that squealing and crying. Mm-hmm. And boy, they came, it was 3 coyotes. They come running up out the creek bottom right to me. But I had been at the range sighting the 7mm mag in. I had my power up to look. Okay, so I was shooting at 100 yards at 3 power, and I turned it up to 9 or whatever it was to see my shot placement on the target. Yep, I'm good. Never went like this and turned it back. So when them coyotes come running, I pulled up. All you saw was a blur. All I saw was brown, and I just squeezed, and all I could see was dirt flying. Now we looked for blood, nothing. But like that was wild. I remember man. That was wild. Yeah, we weren't even there 15 minutes. That was crazy how the timing of it. And that's just like archery. Let's back to archery hunting. The possible mistakes that could be made when you get to a spot like that, and if you're doing strategic stepping and walking in. Don't forget that you just did that on the way in, and then get up in your spot and go, oh, yeah, what's on X? What's this? What's that? What's that? Well, you just strategically walked in there and played a part in that. You got to make sure that you're hunting that scenario like you just planned for.
I think a huge beginner mistake with that, what you're just saying there, Dan, is that understanding hunting the wind and using thermals, understanding your access, how you access and get to your site, how you enter the woods, and the way you get to your site or to your spot that you're hunting, understanding that wind at that particular time could affect your entire hunt. So you're walking in, right? I'm going straight to my spot. Yeah. Well, if I'm going straight to my spot, that might work for certain hunts. It might work. It's worked. It's
for location specific,
right? It's every spot's different. But if the wind's good for me, that might be just fine, right? If I have a west wind and I'm traveling north, it could be great. But if I'm walking in and I got an off wind and that wind is pushing towards the area where I
want to hunt,
I expect the deer to travel before it gets to me.
You're done.
It's over. Before it even begins, and you're sitting there wondering why you didn't see anything that morning. Well, it was because of how you walked in. And if you don't want to blow the area out, you got to think about, okay, I did see a deer, or I had it come by, but it was at 50 yards, or it was at 60 yards, and I couldn't engage it, but I saw where it went. Now, I want to hunt this spot again, and I might adjust where I hunt. But if I walk out and now blow that deer out with my scent on my exit, because I wasn't thinking about where that deer just went, I could just, so it all plays in. One of the biggest lessons for me over the last couple of years is access and exit. That last year, I really focused on that. And when I went into that particular spot where I walked 34, 5 yards in crunchy leaves on a bedded buck.
Yeah.
Right. because I planned out my axis with the winds and everything. And then when I did see the deer and he was dancing around in front of me for a half hour, I did not get out of my tree for another 20 minutes after that deer was gone.
Yeah. Because you don't want to blow that.
Because I didn't want to blow that spot.
Next possible opportunity.
Right.
Up. Yeah.
And I was trying to focus on that. So these are things, if you really, especially if you're hunting a solid food source or a bedding area, if you're right on top of bedding and you blow that bedding area out with your scent, you might as well not even go back there until you can recalibrate that spot.
Or just stay there and call it some personal reflection time. How do I become a better person? How do I, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like you're just wasting time. And you like back to the everyday bow hunter, we only get so much time. So you smartly utilizing that time within these short windows that you do get are critical.
And we get the question all the time, why do you worry about scent control if you're hunting the wind? When you hunt mountains like we do,
it swirls.
We're swirls all the time. If you don't do, I call it scent minimization. A deer is always going to smell you. But think about this: if you know somebody just blew your bathroom out and they opened the door up, you're going to get hit with that like a ton of bricks, right? But if it was 3 hours ago,
it's not.
You might not notice it.
You might not even smell it.
But the deer would and say, oh, that might not be current. That might be older. It's not a huge signature. So it's about signature. Or do you have a big signature? And they talk about this with dogs and dog tracking, right? Okay. You shot the deer today versus now I have a dog out here 2 days later.
I just had a, you don't want to be in here. You do. Like,
oh, no. I don't even know where this is going. I don't even know where this is going.
We talk about
you want to minimize your signature versus having a huge, being a big stink bomb when you go out. That's what I'm saying. If you have swirling winds like we do.
What I was going to say is, like, we talk about historical rubs and us, like when we're scouting and stuff like that. So it's like, I wonder if deer, because they're the hunted, are like they're always like scouting, So like, if that fart was like historical fart, or if it was like a more modern, so like I said, you don't want to be in here.
Well, they say because so a deer has that their sense of smell starts. I'm trying to think of
molecular.
It's a molecular level. It's a gland. So they don't just smell like that you farted. They smell the cheeseburger that you ate.
Oh,
the freaking, you had fries. They're like, yeah, that's Heinz ketchup.
That smells like Jack Daniels.
He mixed in. He had 2 different IPAs last night, and he drank a Miller Lite for some reason. I don't know why, but they actually smell like that, right?
That's crazy.
That they can do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So if you're thinking about the fact that
the historical fart, I'm sorry.
But they
I'm
do.
an idiot.
But the deer, realistically, the deer do memory bank things that sense that they associate with threat, right? So if they got busted out, blown out of an area, and were scared about it, and you were a perceived threat, and they got your scent, we talk about this all the time, right? What's that beginner mistake? Is saying, okay, I blew a deer out of here, now the hunt's over, versus where they could come back because did you spook them with sound or did you
smell
or sight, right? If they see you or smell you, they're gone. If they just got sound bumped, this is a good one for the PA study, right? Is they might only go like 200 yards.
Yeah.
And then come back because that's the spot where they wanted to be at, but they might not come back for an hour.
They don't know what the sound was.
Yeah.
They just know it was something.
Deer run all the time. I have trail cam.
They'll probably try and smell their way back in.
I have trail cam video that we were trying to discuss what scared these deer. There was 2 deer in a spot together, standing there, and they've been there. I actually had them there for a half hour on camera, and then all of a sudden they run, but then they came back.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, what did they run from in the beginning? What scared them?
Oh, so dude. Speaking of trail cam, so Mike sends us a picture of a bobcat and says, I'm waiting on the video to come through. The next text about an hour later was, you guys ain't going to believe this. Wait for this.
Yeah. Awesome.
He sends this video. So it was a bobcat walking away, right? In the photo. Dead center frame, ass to camera, walking away. We're like, oh, that's great. That's cool. It's a bobcat. Yeah, we've seen that before. So he sends this video. The bobcat goes and 3 kittens follow. That was the coolest thing ever. Just to see them little kittens running with mom. That was awesome.
Best videos ever.
Yes, absolutely. That was so freaking cool.
Yeah. I need to do a compilation and post it on YouTube, really.
Yeah, please do, man, because that was awesome. Yeah. I'm sure everybody would love to see that.
Yeah, those are the bobcat.
I know I loved seeing it. Why wouldn't anybody else?
Yes, the kittens were cute.
Yes, that was just...
You never see that.
Just the progression of it. Like, and I said to them, I said, it goes to show what, without video mode, what you really could be missing.
Yes.
In certain scenarios like that.
I've done it 100 times now. And the thing is, the video mode just sucks your camera down. So I have 2 cameras right now that are operating on solar panels, and I have both of those on video mode because the solar panel has just been a godsend, because I also have a high capacity battery attached to each one of them. So they're really, really long term. I probably could have these cameras year round. They probably don't even have to take them out of the tree. Yeah. As long as I might have to go in and adjust the solar panel or whatever, because I've
sun angle,
squirrels jumping over and stuff like that. But
nature.
The video has shown multiple times. I've had like pictures of the bucks that I've sent you recently, where if I didn't send you the video, it'd have been totally out of context.
Yeah.
Like I found a spot where I found bedding, and these bucks are, in my opinion, they're bedding totally around this area night after night. But actually having them on camera bedded in the spot has been
so real great. Quick. I just wanted to show you this. It happens so fast. It's got antlers, but in the video, it happened so fast from when it picked it up to I think it was only like a little 4-point or something like that, but still, like that blink of an eye crap, that's frustrating at times.
The huge thing about trail cameras isn't just saying, oh, I got some deer on camera, because I have never shot a deer in a spot where a camera's hanging. I usually am focused on the travel corridor. Yeah. This year is the only time that I've ever put a camera on
where you're going to actually hunt
on a bedding area, right? So that's lucky enough to have a bedding spot like that. But I have no qualms about that, or illusions about the fact that bedding area will change as the season starts here, and that spot might be good for the first weekend, and that's it. So we'll see how that plays out. But anyway,
it just becomes no longer doe adjacent.
Yes. No. The doe have been in there too, though. It's just a lot of right now. I don't know how your areas are, but the rain that we had this year, it is so thick everywhere in the mountains where we hunt that I think there's so much food, so much browse,
very plentiful,
that the deer are not moving as much as they had previously. So this will be an interesting.
I'm hoping it's not a heavy acorn year.
I have not gotten.
So they'll travel more.
That's the thing that I really haven't identified this year that we had in the past, and I need to get back up here in the next 2 weeks or so and do an acorn analysis to see what's going on in the areas that I'm hoping to hunt. Because here's another mistake.
You got to find.
Don't go in the woods within 2 weeks of the hunting season. Stay out. Stay out of the woods.
Preserve it for the moment.
If you have a spot that you've identified it. Now, if you're like doing active scouting, even stay out of there, because what you're doing is you're pressuring deer, right?
Adding unnecessary hunting pressure.
Without the season even starting. 2 weeks is a small thing. I actually in recent years have done a month where I don't go in, because
I get most of my most of my scouting. If I'm going to do certain things, I'd like to be done by August. That way it gives me all of September, and then...
Because then when I am in the season, right, after I get through, I have spots identified that are based on the specific time of year, right? First week of October, we have this dynamic, right? Then we move into the second week of October, which now we're talking about that moving into the scraping and more rubs, and the deer are moving. Then we get into that last week where it's really scrape heavy, called scrape week, that last week of October. And now you're talking about the deer doing a different thing and then bedding doe adjacent.
Yeah.
And then you head into heavy pre-rut and rut.
Yeah. It's like Halloween is the light switch for,
So I have spots. I just talked earlier about that doe, right? I have a singular doe that's in a spot. I have 2 cameras in that area. I have one low, and I have one at the very top of the mountain. She's on both of those cameras almost every day.
And those cameras are bear adjacent.
Yes, they are. I just sent you that.
Yeah,
there was
I know.
a bear. There's a bear there, and that bear that camera's all the time.
I mean, one of these days he's just going to have to.
But the point is, I would not hunt that spot early because when are buck going to care about that doe?
Yeah.
They're not going to care about her the 1st of October. Are they going to care about the 2nd? Yeah, probably not.
In the beginning, she's just a family member. Then she becomes a family.
Then she's the hunted, right? She's getting hunted by both us and the buck. But so the point is,
metric shit ton of estrogen.
When are buck going to start entering her area to monitor her and her estrus cycle, right? That's when you care about hunting that spot. Why am I hunting it before, just because I know there's a doe there, right? I'm not, when I go in and shoot her the first week, what did I just do? I erased any potential for hunting a nice buck in that area, right? Because bucks, if she is going into estrus and she's not barren like we talked about, then she is basically a singular freaking, target location for a potential buck as the rut comes.
And if she's just out there by herself, man, she's going to be ridden hard and put away wet.
Yeah, they're going to destroy her.
she's going to be all blowed up.
She's going to be six trip Annie by the time she's done. I could have had 8 kids, but I only had. But anyway,
they wore her out.
Yeah.
So do you want to plug the giveaway and put a bow on it?
Sure. So, once again, guys, right now we have the Everyday Bow Hunter quarterly giveaway going on. It is this quarter. Last quarter, we gave away a Moultrie Edge 2 camera and gave away some Everyday Bow Hunter t-shirts like what I'm wearing here right now. Let's see if you can see that on the back. And you can go down in the description if you're on YouTube, or show notes on the podcast apps, and see the store for the shirts. And of course, I have multiple versions of the coffee cups. But in the giveaway this quarter, the giveaway will end on September 30th, and we will be trying to give stuff away, get it out to you, the winners,
before
right away,
archery season,
right, October 1st. So the giveaway is, we're giving away a Sitka Stratus 2.0 jacket in the camouflage and size of your choice, right? And then we're giving away a Tacticam Reveal 3.0 Pro. So it is a great camera. In fact, it's what I have. Took the video of the Bobcat and the little ones.
Awesome.
And then a Grail Ultra Press Purifier water bottle, which I think I just gave to my dad for his birthday.
Yeah. Which is it's like a French press water to get French press the dirt out.
You literally can take muddy water through this thing and have fresh water on the other side.
That's awesome.
And my whole thing with that is put it in your pack, knowing on your scouting that you have water sources out there, right? The smallest of stream, and you scoop up the water and you press it for about 10, 15 seconds.
You got fresh water.
And to me, that
you never know. You could get caught in a situation where you hit a deer and you end up tracking because you might not have got the best shot on it.
Especially early.
And you realize, oh man, I'm out of water. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Like, stop, take a break.
My whole dilemma that started me down that road was the fact that I did not want to carry in all that weight. Water's heavy. The more water you carry, the more weight you're carrying, and trying to minimize that, especially when you're walking long distances too, where you're going, and being able to stop and get water to me is critical.
Yeah, absolutely.
So drying yourself out like I did for a long time was not the smartest thing.
Dehydration's not good, folks.
It kind of sucks.
It kind of sucks.
Yes, but then the fourth place prize, because it's each one, we're giving each one of these away to individual people. So you don't want to think that, say, oh, this giveaway is just, they're giving all this package away and there's only going to be one winner. No, we're going to have 4 winners. You're going to get the Sitka Stratus 2 jacket, the Tacticam Reveal Pro 3 camera, and
the water,
the Ultra Press, the Grail Ultra Press water purifying bottle, and then a Everyday Bow Hunter t-shirt to the 4th prize. So we have all that laid out, and if it doesn't show you any value, right now Sitka is selling that brand new Stratus 2 jacket for $400. So it is not
cheap.
Not a cheap jacket.
Like anything from Sitka, it's not cheap.
Yes. So,
but well made, well thought out, great product.
Yes, I actually was able to get my hands on it, and at a Sitka store in Charlotte, North Carolina, I threw it on, put it on and stuff, and they've added. It's like a multi-phase type thing. The grunt tube holder that's in the Fanatic, that big pocket that's in the front of the Fanatic. They've put that in the Stratus now.
Oh,
so you have like a grunt tube holder in the front of the jacket. But anyway, I think we talked through a lot of stuff here. We probably have enough to talk more about it in the next podcast.
Absolutely.
So we'll be going more into season prep next time around, and some of the last minute scouting tips before we go into that time frame where you don't want to be in the woods.
The grace period.
Yes. Give them deer a break, man. You're going to hunt them all season. Okay, once again, I'm Mike. This is Dan. Episode 43 of the Everyday Bow Hunter podcast, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Mike once again. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want even more content from the Everyday Bow Hunter, I invite you to go over to everydaybowhunter.com or archeryhunting.com. It's the same website for the Everyday Bow Hunter. In addition, if you haven't subscribed, go to our YouTube channel. We have a lot more than the podcast there. Got more video coming every day, a lot more content. In addition, if you go over on your podcast channels, if you're already there, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, please give us a 5-star review. Give us a follow. We really appreciate it. In addition, if you see an Everyday Bow Hunter shirt like this, go ahead, go to the website, go to YouTube, click on it, buy one of our shirts. Every little bit helps. We're not sponsored by anybody. In addition, in our descriptions and our show notes, we highlight products that we use and buy that we love. Now, every time you click on one of those links, we get a small commission. It really helps us out. Like I said, we're not sponsored by anyone. You're our sponsor. So with your support, we can make this channel even better. I appreciate it. And until then, I will see you next time.